Today I wanted to share the trap of trying to manifest a specific person and the attachment to the result of the form. Because the external is a mirror of the internal. And how overly putting our focus on trying to get someone else, or even trying to get someone else back, say it was an ex, or could even be a friend, could be anyone, how overly putting the importance on that person being the answer to your happiness is a trap to your own spiritual growth and self-development. And we're going to cover some ways to alchemize this, because it's not about not manifesting anything that you want. It's just more, what is the place that my focus is coming from? So this is something I've been looking into because I've noticed that this is a bit of a trend on the internet lately, the whole SP thing. Honestly, I didn't even know what that was when I first saw that. And so it's like a specific person, but it also can be like a special person. But anytime you make anything too special, you make it seem like it's the answer, when you're the answer. And so we're going to dive into how choosing yourself, loving yourself is the answer. Because when you love yourself, the mirror reflects. And I've been looking at this through a lens of consciousness to look at, like, if you're also looking at a lot of YouTube videos trying to manifest an SP, you're putting a lot of attention, a lot of life force on that. Maybe you're doing some affirmations, trying to feel like a boss, trying to feel like a king, trying to feel like a queen. Well, the issue with that is that you're trying to be that, but it's like if you're trying to exert influence on someone else or a specific person in order to be that thing that you want, it's not really coming from a place of pure attraction, like law of attraction, of really settling in to knowing your divinity and knowing your worth and knowing your connection to love, your connection to source. It's got this energy of striving to energy of attachment. It's like Buddha said, attachment is the root of all suffering. So, thanks for tuning in today, guys. I'm Josh, and this channel is devoted to helping creators embody their awakening. Now, what the heck does that mean? Well, embodiment, right, is all about your awareness, right? You're tapping into that, you're awakening, you're expanding into a higher consciousness. But it's bringing it into the body, because I believe we came to live this life here in the now, and in that code of that phrase implies that you are the creator of your own reality. So in today's episode, I wanted to talk about when you overly try to focus on someone else changing to respond to you, come back into your life, or trying to get a specific person. You're focusing on the cloth that the manifestation is wearing. When you overly focus on the cloth or the form, the surface, you're immediately attached to it needing to be a specific person, instead of the specific person that it is a match to your vibration and to the essence, to the feeling of what it is that you want. But the feeling of what it is that you're looking for in another person, right, is a feeling that is found within. So that's what I think that the trap of, constantly trying to focus on getting that person, and this kind of relates to the whole soulmate kind of twin flame thing, of this idea of manifesting your other half. Well, first off, I say this lovingly, if you're saying you're trying to manifest your other half, or you're thinking that, cut that out. Stop thinking that. Stop saying that. Because you're already implying that you're not whole. And it's like, it can be a distraction, right? It can be a lot easier to go online and look at these videos or do these affirmations to feel like you're going to attract this person than, or even just focusing on that all the time. But if you're focusing on that all the time, that's taking up a certain level of bandwidth. And it's like, is that really what your soul needs? It can be a distraction from doing the deep inner work, the deep inner alchemy, the work of individuation or awakening or whatever you want to call it, embodiment, enlightenment, expanding your consciousness, like integration. That's what I found and I find along my own journey is that earlier in my journey, when I felt had gone through certain traumas of abandonment as a kid, and then I became a people pleaser, and as I got older, I attracted relationships that were kind of toxic or just codependent because of that. And it relates to the empath thing of taking on other people's energy because you're not solid in your own frame and body. Kind of like what Aaron Dowdy talks about. But this is my own unique perspective, and it's like, oh, other people talk about stuff, but it's like, dude, we're all a lens of consciousness. It's all one thing. Who cares? And so I went through that, and like, you know, girlfriends and stuff, they would reflect this kind of like, it would be distant, or I would feel this longing, or it would just be like kind of like emotionally abusive towards me, and then it would be this game of like, then I would like kind of distance myself, or then it would get close and it'd feel good, and it felt like I was always kind of like looking for this happiness and this love in relationships and never being satisfied. And you know, last year I did some manifestation work around like attracting a love partner, and that happened a couple times, but neither of the times it was really what I wanted. And it was because I was still coming to this place of feeling whole and complete within myself. But each time that it did come in, when it did come in, and it was all, both experiences were very, very beautiful. And exactly what it was meant to be. But like when it did come in, it was when I did feel whole. I did feel satisfied and like I was good either way. Like I was feeling in love with myself. But the periods of time when I wanted it and it wasn't coming is because I felt this sense of desperation. And there was someone that was like, there was an interest, but we didn't end up getting together before all that happened. And like, I had created this whole story around them, and I was like doing these manifestation, feeling it is already done, like getting excited about this idea of this, you know, this specific person, like that I was attracted to, liking me, and like we were, you know, texting, and then we have these long calls, and then I would hear from him for a while, and then I would feel like this desperation, or like, how do I get him to message me back, or like, and I was like going out of my own frame, and I was like creating this whole like illusionary story around this person being important to my happiness. And they weren't even the right person for me. And this led to, we went to a festival together, and it just kind of like totally shattered my perception around this person being like what I thought that they were, and they weren't. And I was, no, that's totally okay now. Like, but in the period when I went through that, it was very painful because I had this attachment to like getting together with them, or them being attracted to me. But because I had that, it was repelling them, and then they weren't feeling that in return, and then I was feeling rejected. And it was super painful, but it was such a beautiful lesson. And I'm one of like, we're one with God. It's not an ego thing. Like, God is in consciousness, not like, you know, this other thing, just like as consciousness, as conscious beings, we are one with the creative source of the universe. And like when you like tap into that source of love within, find your own internal validation, right? And you find your own self-love, then you don't need that from the external in order to feel that connection in the first place. And like when you don't feel that and you need that, it actually does repel. And not only that, attaching to it being this certain person. And this isn't just with a love relationship, it can be with any relationship. No matter what the relationship is when we attach all this importance onto this specific person, it creates like a separation between us and them, or like it puts them on a pedestal. It creates this sense of need. And that sense of need is coming from a place of, I need this because I don't have this, which is a state of scarcity consciousness. But when we release it needing to be any specific person for any specific desire, instead just allow ourselves the desire and become a vibrational match with it, it could be that person, or it could be someone else, or it could be something better. Suddenly you become the prize. And that's what I learned through that experience, is that I wasn't fully valuing myself. And so even if I had gotten together with them, I had already created this story and attachment, and they weren't even the right fit for me. So then I would have been settling. So that's what happens too with like opportunities or new living situations, or you get a job opportunity or a business opportunity for you to take as your own, kind of entrepreneurial thing, is if you like don't fully own your value and find the love within yourself, you'll settle because you think that that one thing is the only thing. Or if you listen to other people, which is sometimes complete nonsense, people's opinions on what you should do. Only you know what you should do, because other people can offer valuable perspectives, but in your heart of hearts, in your core, in your true will, like, you know what you desire. You don't have to explain it to anybody else. And sometimes when you try to talk about what it is that you want, other people will introduce all this evidential, all this like, look at this evidence in your reality, and this is how the world works, and all that is just total background noise to becoming one with your vibration. And like, that's what I found, is that also as I went through that and I let go of that person, I let go of that story, I let go of it needing to be that. Now suddenly you have options. You are the prize. And I realized it was me seeking these love dynamics, or like trying to find this relationship, wasn't even what I needed at that time. It was completely distracting me from my self-development and my spiritual growth and launching my business. I wasn't even in a place in my life where I was stable enough to hold that. So the universe gave me a reflection to show me where my priorities were. Because when you overly attach to that as well, and you're not even in a place to hold that, and you're creating all this importance, you're coming from, it's the scarcity consciousness. It's like a survival mode. It's like thinking, this is the person, I need this thing. But when you like let go and you see, oh, this is a sign for me to actually focus into myself, to become a whole being. Screw trying to find your other half. You're the whole. And it's like becoming the whole, finding the love within, going within. The feeling is the healing, letting go, tuning in. And it's also like, where's that energy going? Like when you're attached to another person, it creates an energetic cord, and it creates a hole in your field. It creates a hole in your aura. I mean, psychics and shit can see this. But it literally leaks your energy. What's that energy? That's your creative energy. That's your life force. That's the energy you manifest with. You leaking that shit all over the place, it's gone. But it's never really gone. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just is. There's all this infinite energy. But it can be misplaced. It can be misused. It's never lost. It can be misused. But that's what redemption is. That's what forgiveness is. That's what shifting your state of consciousness and being like, actually, I'm going to redeem this. I'm going to clear my part of this. I'm going to, and then that energy returns to you. When you look at the shadow with love, not fear, you look at the fear and you don't fear the fear. You love the fear, and then the fear transmutes. You look at the shame, and instead of shaming the shame, you love the shame. You look at the judgment, instead of judging the judgment, you love the judgment. Whatever it is, it comes up and you love it, however you love it. People have all these different specific ways of doing that, and they make it all sound super fancy and put credentials around it so that they can be this expert. But I'm just saying to you as a fellow seeker on the path, or I don't necessarily use that label, but you know what I mean, is that like it's just so simple. Like, it's really not this, you don't need all these degrees, you don't need all this. It's literally like breathing. Like, you love yourself, your shadow comes up, your contrast comes up. You know, you can call it whatever you want. It comes up and you love it, and it integrates. Because when you don't resist the resistance, it doesn't create a persistence. When you allow it, when you meet it, when you greet it, when you embrace it, when you surrender to the divine consciousness and say, I don't know. I'm going to give it up. I'm going to allow this to be transmuted. It's like you can also transcend into another perspective, and you start integrating your energy into your body, grounding into the center of Gaia, connecting up to the source of how high up the universe, your whole up to your crown, up to the universe. And you anchor yourself in your body, and you feel yourself in your body, and you're like, dude, I'm awesome. Dude, I'm safe. I don't need that in order to be happy. And you find your happiness within. Suddenly you start feeling this love. I pulled up to a page on that glossary at the end of Gene Keys last night, and it was talking about absorption. And it talks about when you're in a state of absorption and consciousness, that your own aura becomes a self-sufficient field that is feeding on its own light. And it's like becoming like a fountain. Like that's what I'm talking about, self-sourcing. Like, I'm talking about something that's like a real energetic, like metaphysical thing that happens in your energy. When you start self-sourcing, you start, like, this energy starts returning to you. When you clear, when you let go, when you forgive, when you reclaim, when the energy returns to you, you unlock the power of imagination. You feel the love within yourself. And they were saying that absorption leads to embodiment. Because now you're in a state of, when you practice like the contemplation, when you practice meditation, when you go within yourself and you do the inner work, whatever you call it, inner alchemy, self-development, spiritual growth, spiritual practice, that's the deeper work. Because as we prioritize that, we're actually healing, we're growing, we're evolving, we're becoming a whole being. And then as we feel that state of absorption, like we're overflowing, like we become like a fountain, like an overflowing cup, then we have love to give. It's effortless. It's just arising from within you. That's the grail. That's the Christ consciousness. It's non-personal, but it's personal to everyone. It manifests within each of us because we are all of the source of creation, creator. So love yourself, know yourself, and then as you do, right? That's what I experienced, is like, as I loved myself, I get the reflection of love. You attract the love, but you're not seeking it in the external. You have it within you. And when you have it within you, it reflects. And you start receiving other people loving and appreciating you. And then it starts to come in. And then whatever that specific person is will manifest as the person it's meant to be. Because it's a reflection. It's attraction. And you're more attractive when you're in that state, because you know that you are the prize. You have chosen yourself. Because when you overly put the stuff on the pedestal, place all this importance, try to get this person, how do you even know that's the right person? I was listening to Neville Goddard yesterday, and they were talking about somebody wanted to get married, and she's like, this is the guy. And he turned to her, and he's like, well, how do you know? What if he dies tomorrow? And she's like, why would you say that? And what he was pointing at is like, why would you make the early assumption of it needing to be this person instead of just making the assumption that you have the right match to that person you want to be with or that you want to marry? And you allow and you surrender and you allow the universe to work out the best match for you. And it could be that person or it could be something else. And that's why I feel like it's abundance consciousness. And it's also in that self-validation, it's also advocating for your own needs. It's taking care of your own energetic hygiene, because then you're not relying on it. Like, it can be like a form of manipulation to require someone else to play a certain role for you when they aren't able to play that role for you, and then to blame them for not meeting your needs when there's all of these other people that could meet your needs. When we overly attach to one person and we think that we're alone in the world and this is the only person there, that's not attractive to the thing that you want. And it also, reality has a way of proving itself true. If you believe whatever you believe, it's like, congratulations, you're right. Happy? Oh, I'm so right about my opinion on reality. Well, congratulations, you're right. Do you want to be right about that? Do you want to have your belief prove itself to you over and over again through the law of assumption? Or do you not need to learn the same lesson twice? Do you know that you are worthy? Do you know that you are divine? Do you know that you are worthy of love? Do you know that the source loves you infinitely and never stops? Plug into that and follow the guidance. And yeah, you deserve it. If you want it, you want it. But I'm saying go to the essence of the desire, the seed of the desire. Because that's why these things can screw us up, is because we're focused on the superficial. We're focused on the character in the story that we think it needs to be. But when we're like, this or something better, or just go to the essence of what it is that you want, then you're going to the root of the desire. Because I do believe that you don't need to explain your desire. You have the desire, so therefore it's God-given. If it's a true desire, if it's a heart's desire. But is it a true desire, or is it programming around that desire? Because that's what I think this other thing is like, it can be this programming of all this stuff going on, and then you start getting all this content, and it's like, how do I get this SP, or where's my soulmate, or let me get another tarot reading, and it's a distraction. It's programming. You're trying to do these like rituals and stuff to get this person to change. You're trying to manipulate the external. It's programming. Go back to the root of the desire. Love yourself. Do the inner work. And you can get what you want. I'm not saying don't, like, I'm saying, yeah, you can fall asleep in the state of feeling yourself into love, feel the person coming in, feel it as if it's already done. Tune into it throughout the day. But imagine, like, when you're tuning in, that go general, like Abraham Hicks talks about. Go general, go general. If you're getting all this resistance, how is that helping your manifestation? Trying to get this specific person. Just go to the vibration, right? Go to the, what's it feel like? It feels like love. It feels good. I feel sexy. I feel empowered. I feel like it's a really deep connection. I like the feeling of intimacy. Go general. Feel it. Feel it as though it's already happening. But like, allow it to fill in naturally instead of trying to force it to fill in. Because that way you're tapping into the essence, like you actually can feel it. But then you're just kind of savoring like, oh, what would it feel like? You're kind of dreaming it into being. But then you're satisfied in the moment. But then that's why I feel like these other things, they can be, it's distractions, because it's like, if you're not like feeling love within yourself already, if you're not feeling satisfied living your life in the moment, Why is that going to change if you suddenly manifest a relationship? If you haven't changed, you're just going to have another sucky relationship. So maybe it's a blessing that you're not, in this period of time when you have that thing. Like that's what I learned in that lesson, when that person, I thought that they were the person, they were not the person. And, it gave me a blessing of being with myself. Because if having a period of time of being with yourself, to fall in love with yourself, that's what I learned, is like, how can I fall in love with myself? And then getting to this point where it's like, you're going to feel lonely. But, when I would go in and meet that feeling, and then I would feel at all one, like alone turns to all one. I could start to feel all one with myself. Because even if you're in quote unquote alone in a room or out in the middle of the forest, we're still connected to everything in the universe. So to be able to feel that, it's like, oh, actually that's what I want to feel, whether or not I'm in a relationship. And I definitely want to feel that in a relationship. So don't try to get another half, get another whole. Just get a reflection, become the whole. And then the reflection will be a whole. It'll be holy. It'll be like, it'll just be amazing, because then it's also like, think of the vibrational match of the kind of love relationship you attract, from the place of having prioritized and valued and loved and done the inner work, and now that's your way of life. You're going to attract somebody else like that. But if you, stay in the distraction, avoid the work, and constantly try to seek these, you're going to continually kind of get these relationships that are not fulfilling, and with somebody else who's also not doing that work. Because it's all a reflection, right? It's all a law of reflection. The reflection of relationship are such great teachers. And so that's why bringing this whole circle around is like, also pay attention to, why is this content appearing? Because whatever you put your focus on grows. Is this really what I need for my spiritual development and growth? Or is it time to look within and realize that you are the prize? Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you got some value from this video, please hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what resonates. Leave the rest. And also subscribe for regular videos to help you stay tuned into alignment. Thank you, guys. And really appreciate all the supportive comments, people tuning in from all over the world. And I will see you on the next one. Many blessings.